Okay, thank you very much. My clicker. I'm a clinical psychologist, and back in the early 90s, I had this crazy idea that we could use virtual reality for various clinical purposes, for rehabilitating brain injury, for treating people with phobias and PTSD. And I started doing it in the early 90s when VR was going through its first renaissance. There's a lot of hype. Lawnmower Man had come out. Disney was building Disney Quest, a theme park in a building with virtual reality. A lot of startup companies were building really bad head-mounted displays and peripheral data gloves and so on. And right about the time I started my lab at the University of Southern California, it was right at the time I was able to be there at the dawn of the nuclear winter of virtual reality, 1995. The technology was not there to deliver on the vision, but we had a lab set up and we started building things that actually made a little bit of sense. And over the last 20 years, since 1995, 19 years, kind of under the radar, we've been building applications, waiting for the moment when virtual reality would rise again, when the second coming of virtual reality would take place. And I think we're just about there. You know, I think we saw that computing processing, 3D video, 3D, digital graphics have evolved, interface devices with the Kinect, even the Nintendo Wii, and the Oculus Rift, which we have right here and we'll be doing a demo shortly of. I think the technology has caught up with the vision, and I'm going to show a couple of slides here to show some of those applications, and then we'll come out with a demo. I have Gary Marcus, best-selling author, writer for The New Yorker, and professor at NYU, who will be coming out, and I'm going to put him through an application we developed to treat post-traumatic stress disorder in returning soldiers and veterans. So, first slide, if this will work. There we go. My lab's at the Institute for Creative Technologies at the University of Southern California, and we have what's called the MedVR Research Group. And our group focuses, it's an interdisciplinary group, it focuses on building psychological, cognitive, and motor applications, and some work with virtual humans. Now, what you're going to see shortly in the demo is actually this scenario. It'll look a little different in the Oculus. You'll see the stereo view on the screen as the user, as Gary turns his head and moves around. But this is a treatment tool for PTSD. We'll hear more about that. But it's not just about combat environments. This is a virtual classroom we developed to test children with attention deficit disorder, where they had to pay attention to what was going on at the front of the class, but meanwhile, as you can see, they're turning their head and looking around. And we could actually program in distractions to see how well they can maintain their attention in the real world. The next application, game-based virtual reality for post-stroke rehabilitation using the Microsoft Kinect. This user is being tracked without any wires or instrumentation. The camera is tracking their movement, and now she can participate in physical rehab activities that are usually very boring. And we know that physical rehab after a stroke works. You can reorganize the brain and develop function, but nobody does it because it's so damn boring. So if we make it game-like and we can deliver it on a big TV with a Kinect that's in everybody's home, people can start doing more rehab. Finally, and this is something maybe if I'm invited back next year we'll talk about, is virtual humans.
Good afternoon, Sergeant Castilla. What brings you in today?
Well, my wife told me she thought I should talk to someone. She's been pretty concerned about me since they told you suicide on base last
night. A virtual patient. We can turn the sound down on that just a little bit. And it's a way to take novice clinicians who have never seen patients and give them an opportunity basically to screw up with a digital character with some AI before they get their hands on a live one. So anyway, that's the range of the types of work we do, but the one I want to emphasize right now is one that's very important in the United States, the idea of treating post-traumatic stress disorder with returning veterans. Now, what you're going to see is counterintuitive at first, but what we do is we help patients confront and process difficult emotional memories by putting them in simulations of some of those memories, and the clinician has a control panel that I have right here that can control everything that goes on in the simulation in real time. Meanwhile, the patient confronts and processes very difficult memories. And I'll let this video explain it.
BraveMind is a form of virtual reality exposure therapy that combines video game-based simulations with one of the most widely used evidence-based therapies. Making use of the University of Southern California Institute for Creative Technology's expertise in immersive technologies and emotional storytelling, BraveMind is a treatment option with appeal for today's digital generation. BraveMind gradually recreates trauma-relevant scenarios that clinicians can use to help patients confront and process difficult memories in a safe and supportive environment.
Now, I'm going to show another slide. It's going to show a range of different videos of the scenarios. We have 14 different worlds we've created, and you'll hear a patient talking about their experience in the environment.
Okay.
By going through it there, it's not going through my head at night when I'm trying to sleep or when I'm with my wife, when times when I don't want it to come up and me start thinking about it. Traumatic things are not normal. You cannot handle the things that you've seen and done. And this is a tool that has helped me out tremendously.
Reliving the worst moments of his life has helped him to move on with his life.
I'm probably about 80% of who I was before I left, but I think that's pretty good after seeing and doing the things that we've done.
For Nightline, this is Dan Harris in Atlanta.
So I think the thing that will make virtual reality in the clinical domain more acceptable now, this time around for the second coming, is that we've got a lot of data to show that it works. This is a study where the first 20 treatment completers went through the system. 16 no longer met PTSD criteria at the end of treatment and maintained those gains at 3 months. 4 did not benefit. So just quickly, we look at this as a way to draw people into treatment that might not ordinarily go in, particularly digital generation service members. Number of sites where it's located at, and a number of ways that we've expanded on the system. We're building one for military sexual trauma right now. And the concept is war sucks, but it drives innovation that finds its way into the civilian sector. And I think our next step is to translate this into trauma scenarios that are relevant for civilians that have gone through difficult experiences. Now I'd like to bring out Gary to put on the Oculus, and if we can shift the slides from the current slides to what's going through here. There we go. Come on out, Gary. What you're seeing is a stereo view inside a Humvee. And here you go. You just kind of put that on like a ski mask. This is his first virtual experience. He was a VR virgin before today.
Raise your hands if I look like a goofball. I can't see you. That's the nice part.
Okay, now I'm going to give you a gamepad here, and it's this left controller that you'll be able to push forward. And you can see we can do a variety of things here. I can pop you into different locations, in the driver's seat, in the back, all depending and customized to the specific trauma experience of the user. I can change the lighting conditions in a variety of ways. I'm not sure if we have sound running through this right now. Oh yes, okay, so I can set off explosions, gunfire. You can do a variety of things where I can't see what I'm doing here without looking at the screen, where we can start to blow things up. Well, don't hit that. And we can blow that vehicle up front. And essentially create the experience that the patient is describing in their narration as they confront the trauma. Now, I'm going to jump out of this one and go to another environment, an Afghan city market. and just do a couple of quick things. There's 14 of these worlds, and you'll see that there's a variety of things that can happen in each one of them. So if you look to the left, turn your head to the left. Here you can stop, you don't have to drive. I can set off a vehicle-borne IED. At the same time, I can set off a call to prayers, police sirens. I don't know if that's working. We can adjust, make it foggy or sandstorm-like. I can teleport you to a safe area. If you look to your, look up that roadway there. We can make a jet fly over, a helicopter fly over. I can start to add more and more sound into the environment.
I don't see the plane.
No plane, let me fire that again.
I hear it.
Oh, we may have a bug. Turn the other way. Oh, there was a helicopter. Yeah, turn all the way around.
Oh, there we go.
There we go. Yeah, if you turn all the way around the other way, we'll do that plane again. I mean, all the way around, like this. Here we go. Stay right there. And we should be seeing a jet and a helicopter coming on by. There we go. So, this gives you a general idea. The novelty with this is that we're creating an immersive simulation that targets a very difficult psychological condition. And we're not saying that the technology fixes anybody. It's still just a tool in the hands of a well-trained clinician that understands how to deliver this evidence-based treatment. The clinician controls everything in the virtual environment. So with that, we can stop. And Gary, if you have any comments or statements, I can take that off of you. And we're right on time.
In terms of using something like this as a therapy, how much does the quality of the visualization matter? So this seems sort of like somewhere between Atari graphics and Xbox graphics. It's certainly not state of the art. Is that enough in order to be helpful? Would it be more helpful if the graphics were even better?
We were trying to differentiate this from a computer game like Call of Duty in the sense that it's a little bit more open so that the patient can begin to bring in their own memories. If you make it too graphic and too detailed, they begin to react to it like a computer game. And our job is to raise anxiety at a moderate level so somebody can begin to process difficult memories, emotions that they've kept bottled up. So by purpose, we're a little less than graphically detailed in this. We don't allow firing back, for example. It's more about bringing memories. There was a version of this called Virtual Vietnam that was tried in 1997 with Vietnam-era vets that 25 years after their trauma, and very impoverished, 1997 graphics. And when people came out of it, and they'd ask them what they saw, they'd say, oh, in the rice paddy there was a water buffalo and the Viet Cong were coming out of the jungle. None of that was in there. Mm-hmm. That was stuff that the patient brought in from their own trauma experiences. And the data from that as well, even in that primitive approach, was very positive. So that was really kind of the underground virtual reality movement in the late 90s, early 2000s.
I think it'd be great as things go forward to get experimental data comparing, more and less vivid and lots of different parameters you might imagine studying to really figure out how to optimize things.
Right, we use a smell machine. We pump out smells into the environment, nasty smells, gunpowder, cordite, burning rubber, body odor, sewage smells, things like that. So we're trying to be multi-sensory and to see exactly that. Does that add something by having smell or having a vibrating platform when a bomb goes off? You actually feel it in your body.
Well, I think we're out of time, but thank you very much for sparing me those smells and letting me participate. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.